Well, we got a lot going on today, so tons to watch for. Starting off today, Roblox fell 0.8% during market hours. Really want to watch it today because it's around levels where it can start coming back up today. We've seen some pretty good volume, and it's at a pretty low point. But given what's happening with CPI, what's happening with SPY and QQQ, it's very unlikely anything's really going to try to rebound today of all days. But we do want to watch this. Keep it on your watch list if you've ever traded Roblox, if you're into Roblox, or as a stock or even as a game. When it first came out as a stock, it flourished and skyrocketed, right? So we want to see that again as it hits rock bottoms. You never know when they'll have good news, but one thing to watch out for is that Roblox does report earnings on Tuesday, February 15th. Now, so far, we've seen that pretty much every earnings play I've done was a hit, and earnings are a great place to go with because you could enter calls or enter puts. Let's say a stock might be at like $60 and you enter calls for it because you think it's going to flourish. And then the next morning it could be at $100. So that's a massive jump on those calls or puts. And you really only get one or two contracts because you want to manage your risk. It might go the other way and just go to zero, right? Uh, so far I've been pretty good at hitting. We were able to hit Google earnings. We were able to hit Amazon earnings. We also hit Disney earnings. All those tech earnings that happened, we were able to hit them well because it was just pretty clear that they were going to do well. Not only because they were going to show good earnings, but even if they didn't show good earnings, I have a feeling their stocks would have flourished because they were businesses that had a lot going on. Now, Roblox, another thing that they had going on, those other earnings that we hit well, were that they were at lows, where now if someone buys into it, it's going to go up, right? So something like that. And other stocks that were at a high already, when their earnings come, they usually dump because everyone just sells. They're like, all right, cool, let me get my money now. Even if the stock is doing well, right? Even if the stock is doing well, you will often see earnings aren't always one to one. Well, where if earnings are good, the stock goes up, and the earnings are bad, stock goes down. No, sometimes companies can have really good earnings and the stock just dumps because it was already at high, and all the investors want to take their money out now. So with Roblox being at such a low point, I expect them to show really good earnings because it's a game that's been flourishing really well. It's also something that's going to be a big part of the metaverse that Facebook is doing. So I expect their earnings to be good, and I also expect them to just rise big time. But we'll see how things look as we approach February 15th next week. I do the IWM if you trade some levels here for that. Amazon is a big one I want to watch. Amazon, AMD, and Tesla, the three big tech guys, three of the many big tech guys. Amazon fell 1.36% during market hours yesterday, was down even more after hours. And usually Amazon would break down further with the market, but that wasn't the case during Thursday's trading sessions. So you want to keep an eye on the 3188 or back test 3151 level as it can test 3200, and you want to play that gap. You want to play that gap from 3151 to 3200 and take profits because what's happening is Amazon, after their great earnings, people put money into it and no one wants to really pull it out. They're doing really, really well, right? So if we come over here, look at my charts, um, Amazon right here. So you can see it's got a positive slope to it. It's been falling from a high of 32.76, coming downwards, right? And you can see that these yellow lines, they basically kind of show support. These are trends, right? And we're looking at the 5 minute candles, but basically it's already starting to show a bounce back up, right? It's already showing a bounce back up. We've already got a green MACD. So we can expect it to come back up to 32.25. You want to play that gap up, especially on a Friday. So on Fridays, these stocks are a lot cheaper. Options are a lot cheaper for these stocks, I mean, and you want to grab that, right? So if you were doing puts from here to down here, remember how options work. Your option, your contract will only really increase in value if there's a big candle, right? Volume determines how strongly the contract's value is going to increase. There are often going to be times where you get a contract and the stock might be going up in price, but it's going up so slowly that the contract isn't changing in price. Or if anything, the contract might actually be going down in price. And that's usually because there isn't enough volume. Right? You need volume with the contract. So like a big candle like this red candle here, if you have a put that you entered maybe over here, and then you hit this big red candle, you're going to be up big time on that value of that put, right? So now here, looking at where we are, it's consolidating pretty well. It's holding here. It's most likely today that it's going to come back up to at least 32.25, close to 32.20, and then go back down. So you want to watch for that. You really want to get that play. I'm looking to get that play. I want to see it test 3200. I want to hit 31.51 and then come back up with it. Right now, Amazon is at 31.80. Right, so that's again also a pretty good low for it to be at, but I want to watch where it goes once the market opens in 28 more minutes. Similarly, AMD, Tesla, both really big players. Now, Tesla and AMD, they fell big time, right? So you can see AMD fell almost 6% because they fell another 0.8 after hours, so that is more than 6%. It attempted to break out of the downtrend, but it continues to get rejected, and it's going to keep falling. The poor CPI data and Fed's comments triggered the market to pull back later into the day. You can see the weekly downtrend line easier on the weekly time frame at the rejection. So most likely, a great play for today would be AMD puts, and similarly, Tesla also puts. Right, you want to see it below 900, get the 880 put, just let it fall, have the volume, and if it keeps falling, most likely it'll go down to at least 750 before it tries to come back up. Got some levels here. You can also look at the charts for each of these levels also, right? So these are all great. Now remember, this is why you need these charts, right? You can't just buy calls and hope it's going to go all the way up, or buy puts and it'll go all the way down. It's going to have a level where it's going to bounce back up from, right? That level of support or bounce back down from, which is a level of rejection, are levels you want to know when you're playing options. Otherwise, you're never really going to make much out of these options. Personally, I'm also going to be watching Salva and Rivian calls. Those are the only calls I'm looking forward to getting today. Other than that, I'm really only looking at puts for everything. So like clearly SPY, QQQ not doing that well. And with CPI not looking so good, things are going to definitely fall downwards. So as the market gets ready, I look forward to seeing you guys in the Discord server, and I'll be alerting everything I enter. And let's see how things go. And then I'll see you guys later tonight when I do a revision of today.